You guys talked about implementing interventions that are tailored to groups of students or individual students' needs. Can you talk a little bit about the difference between the MTSS framework as opposed to the response to intervention or instruction framework that most schools are using today?
Well, originally it was all just RTI, response to intervention. This is a couple decades ago, where people had a lot of concerns at one point about how we go around identifying learning disabilities. And there was a group of people that said, you can't really know if a student has a learning disability unless you try to teach them and use high quality instruction and document what you taught and how you taught it, and then monitor their response. The hypothesis being that there's going to be some kids that'll have minimal response and others that will have a typical adequate response to that. So we look at the response to instruction to see, is this potentially a student with a learning disability? But as the scholarship on that developed and as schools started to implement this, like the co-op where I used to work, implemented this for a very long time. And the focus gradually shifted and expanded to be, this is not just special ed, this is general ed, this is K through 12. And originally it was all like elementary reading, but that expanded to include math and writing, and now social emotional learning and social behavior in school, mental health. So the idea has just expanded much wider beyond that original concept of response to intervention, or RTI. So it was back in, I'd want to say 2010, but don't quote me on that, when I think we hit a bit of a tipping point and people just started calling it multi-tiered systems of support, because it's a much more inclusive name. It's really about all of our students and not just those that are struggling. And it's really about all of our different people in the building and not just the special education teachers and the school psychologists.
It sounds like it's a lot more comprehensive, and like you said, it addresses a large variety of the school personnel and how different issues impact different people really outside of just school psychologists and special education teachers and their students, which is great.
I think it's now, I think I said this before, but the momentum for MTSS to be increasing access for all students, I think is, given our current state of affairs, what's going on sociopolitically in the United States, it really opens up a wider, berth of access to all students with all different kinds of needs, and how do we meet students where they're at to get the supports and services they need to be successful. I think is really, is maybe not where it started, but it's where it's landed.